Hello, folks, and welcome to another episode of the Cubs Line podcast. I'm Ryan Dunleavy,
And I'm Ron Zelensky.
and today we are joined by Cubs second-round pick outfielder out of Texas A&M, Caden Sorrell. Caden, thank you so much for coming on to the show today.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Super glad to have you. So, Rye, I'll hand it over to you to ask the first question.
Yeah, so first off, congratulations on being drafted. What was that experience like, kind of the day of the draft and after getting drafted? Like, how did that all go down? And like, what were you thinking through the whole day?
Yeah, no, it was definitely a stressful day. I mean, I've been playing baseball since I was 4 years old, so definitely a little bit of nerves waking up that day, and even just like the entire week was a little stressful, just because you never really know what's going to happen in the draft. Really, anything could happen. It doesn't really matter what um, mock drafts are saying or what agents are saying. Truth is, you really never know until
Yeah.
you finally get that phone call. So. Waking up that morning was stressful. Glad that the draft kind of started in the morning, so I didn't have to stress the whole entire day. Um, but it was good. Went over to my grandparents' house, had some high school buddies down, had my girlfriend down, bunch of family around. So was a great, experience. Was just kind of sitting on the couch waiting to get a call, and then, pick 62 rolls around, and then I get a call saying that I'm getting drafted with the Cubs, and I was ecstatic for sure.
Yeah, so we speak to a couple of draft picks, and they always say like there's maybe some teams that they think like, did you have any idea it was the Cubs, or was it just kind of happened?
No, I had no clue. I'd been through this experience in high school, so I kind of like knew what to expect, and I kind of knew um, whatever teams my agent's hearing from the most. It doesn't really mean much because again, I experienced that in high school and was told a lot of things like this is where you're probably going to go. These are the teams interested, and then draft rolls around. All that just goes out the door and. So, I mean, walking into it this time was, kind of had the mindset of no idea who's going to draft me, but whoever drafts me, obviously, I'm gonna give it my all wherever I go. But again, had no idea. Didn't talk to the Cubs before. I went to the combine, had my meetings with teams. The Cubs were not one of them.
Oh wow.
So yeah, I mean, that kind of just goes to show that really, anything can happen come draft day.
Yeah.
Yeah, so for my first question, I believe when you're growing up, you had two grandfathers who played in the major leagues. So, how did that kind of help you get to this level and just through the whole draft experience and everything?
Yeah, no, it was great, especially growing up in a baseball household. Both grandfathers playing professionally. My mom's side, Tom Griffin, was a pitcher. I think pitched for around 14 years. Gave me a lot of good stories, about his experience. Even in the minor leagues, he's given me a lot of insight. Obviously, like the minor leagues now is a lot different than it was, 50 years ago. But he definitely had a lot of cool stories to tell me and, things to kind of, be prepared for in a way. My dad's side, Billy Sorrell, he was a utility guy. I played for I believe the Cubs for 1 year and the Royals for 3 years. Passed away when I was really young, so I never really got to pick his brain too much on baseball and his experiences and all that. And then my dad, he had the chance to go play professionally out of high school with the Red Sox. Parents were really big on going to college first, so he went to college. Ended up getting hurt, but again, he's been in the baseball world his entire life. So ever since I was young, growing up, I've always kind of had some great role models to ask questions to and to kind of go to for guidance.
Yeah, I mean, that's got to be a dream just growing up in the clubhouse with all the older guys, getting to kind of take in that whole pro ball experience and everything. So, that's
Yeah,
definitely got to be a big help.
for sure, for sure.
Yeah, so looking back, you had an outstanding career at Texas A&M. So, like, what was like the area you think you grew most as a player from day one when you walked in to when you left?
I would say in high school, I guess college, the area that I grew the most in was probably the mental side of baseball. I think growing up, as a young athlete, you don't really think about the mental side of the game. You just go out there and play and have fun, and you don't really think about anything else. And as you start to kind of advance in levels, you deal with failure a lot more, and can definitely be tough for some players at times, especially when you've had success all throughout your life, all throughout high school, and then you get to college and you get slapped in the mouth a little bit because you're not used to seeing that level of play. Seeing guys that are throwing 95 every single day and being expected to put up good ABs. It just wasn't something that I was used to. And it took me a while to get used to it, especially again on the mental side. I would beat myself up all the time for not having a good game or a good inner squad, instead of just learning to, I guess, learn from the failure. No failure is bad in my mind. I mean, you learn from um, everything you do in this game. It's kind of up to you how you take it. So if you want to take the failures and um, beat yourself up over it, then it's not gonna make you a better player. But if you take the failure and you learn from it, and you grow as a player, then I think that's when you improve the most. So out of all the things that I've learned, I would say, or gotten better at, I would say the mental side has been biggest for me.
Yeah, and that's a really good like way to look at it. Like no failure is bad.
For sure. I mean, it is a game of failure at the end of the day. It's a mental game. My dad always told me it's 90% mental, 10% physical. And, growing up, I didn't really listen to that because,
100% physical when we were growing up. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. That was something that, like, I kind of just went in one ear and out the other ear and just, like, kind of poo-pooed it. Like, who
Yeah.
cares? Like, that stuff's never going to bother me. But, truth is, like, the mental side everybody's going to have their own struggles in this game. So, yeah, it was never something that I really thought about when I was younger.
Yeah, so for my next question, you played a lot as a true freshman, and that's pretty rare now seeing, especially at the SEC level. So how did you handle that pressure of being a true freshman and getting 48 starts and 62 appearances, and just seeing that much consistent time in the lineup? How did you handle that as a true freshman?
Yeah. Again, I learned a lot whenever I got there, especially in the fall. That's when I struggled the most my freshman year. That's when I really had to learn to be able to deal with failure. So, hitting a buck 50 in the fall ain't going to cut it. And, I knew that. And I knew that moving forward into the season, I had to change that mindset. And I didn't start the season off playing. I was kind of a bench guy. I would get some pinch hit opportunities when we were up by, 10 runs. But I didn't play much. Had a couple starts, did nothing with them. And then our left fielder ended up getting hurt. I think first conference series against Florida. Um, was able to DH, but couldn't really move too well in the outfield. So that's kind of when I got my opportunity. And they hadn't told me, the first conference series that I started, they hadn't told me until I got to the field, but I kind of had a sneaky suspicion, I guess, walking into the field that I was going to play that day just because I knew the matchup. I knew the pitcher that was going. I knew that they kind of needed a new left fielder to play out there because they didn't really have anybody else at the time, or they did, but I had a feeling that they were going to, tell me that I was starting. So, I had some time to kind of prepare myself and, went into that game with really nothing to lose and just wanted to go out there, have fun, take the whole experience in and not worry about the failure. And, ended up going, I think 3 for 4 that game with a homer and a double. And, ever since then, I just learned to go out there, have fun, not put any unnecessary pressure on myself because, players that do that in this game aren't going to have too much success. So, went out there, had fun, and, let God do the rest was kind of my mindset.
Yeah, I mean, that's the best when you're just playing, having fun. That's when you typically succeed most in anything. How did, just in general, how did the SEC prepare you for pro ball and just all baseball in general?
Yeah, haven't obviously experienced the pro ball side too much yet, but I think playing in the SEC, it's the best conference and for baseball by far. Anybody else that has something to say to that can argue with a wall because. But I think it's definitely prepared me a lot seeing that type of velocity every single weekend. Guys that are throwing 95 plus is pretty normal in the SEC, and the velocity is kind of the same around minor leagues and the big leagues. Obviously, there's better pitchers in the big leagues and all that, but being able to see consistent competition like that, I think has definitely helped prepare me for that, and it's improved me as a player as well.
Yeah, you're seeing Friday guys every day in the SEC.
Yeah, basically.
I'm a big Big Ten guy, so I don't know if I enjoy that SEC comment.
I'm sorry.
So my next question, like you've played with a lot of teammates, and even played against a lot of guys in the SEC. I mean, who had the biggest impact on your development, whether it be player or opponent, or like teammate, opponent, maybe even coach too?
Yeah, I mean, there was a ton. Like Coach Early, the head coach at A&M, he started off as a hitting guy when I got there, and then got the head coaching job my sophomore year. He had a huge impact on me just as a person and as a player. He improved me in so many ways, and I'm just grateful to have a guy like him in my corner. Can't really say enough good things about that guy. And then player wise, like having guys like Gavin Grahovac, great teammate, great player, even better person off the field, was my roommate. Great dude. I would say the biggest impact on me as a player would probably say Braden Montgomery, freshman year playing with him. Just a really hard worker. Obviously, like he had all the tools in the world to be a first rounder and do what he's doing in the big leagues right now. And he knew all that, but at the same time, like he showed up every single day at the field, wanting to get better, wanting to work on things, and was just a dedicated dude. And um, I think I kind of learned a little bit of the consistency from him and just the hard working factor from him. Not that I wasn't a hard worker to begin with. Um, but a guy like him that's got all the tools in the world, and continues to show that in his work every single day, kind of I guess wore off on me over time.
Yeah, I mean, that's really cool. You got to play with a guy like Braden. I mean, he's an unbelievable player.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it's a guy that's succeeding on the South Side right now. So, for my next question, the Cubs have developed several young outfielders recently: Pete Crow Armstrong, Ian Happ, like homegrown talents. The list goes on and on. What excites you most about joining the organization?
I mean, I've heard a lot of great things about the organization. The player development here is amazing. I mean, they're really minute in just the small details, and they work really hard on just improving us as a player in every single way. Me as me in college, like for example, I never really worked too much on punting or small ball stuff like that. But coming here, like they want to expand all your tools to the max. They want to develop you to the best player possible. So that's been great so far here. Obviously, I've heard a lot about the fan base. I know the fan base is really passionate. I've seen the games. It's always packed there. And having a fan base that's that passionate kind of just shows that I guess there's a lot of expectations. There's a lot of expectations to win, and that's what I want to do as a player. My number one goal is to win, regardless of what it takes. I want to go in there. I want to win. So being able to play in front of a fan base like that is amazing, and I'm looking forward to being on the big stage one day for sure.
Yeah, there's really nothing like playing at Wrigley Field, always packed, no matter a game in April or a game in October.
Hmm.
Throughout the whole year, it's packed. I think the best fan base in baseball, no doubt. But have you been able to meet any of the guys really in Arizona? I know there's guys on rehab assignments, other draft picks there. Have you been able to kind of meet some of these guys and pick their brains about baseball?
Um, haven't really. There's not a whole lot of rehab hitters down here that are from the big leagues. I know there's a couple pitchers, but I haven't really talked to them too much. I've talked to a lot of the other guys, like in my signing class. Actually, I mean, my roommate Corey, he moved out this morning, um, went off to Myrtle Beach. But I've talked with a lot of the draft guys, and we're all kind of in the same boat. It's like unexplored waters, but we're all super excited to be here, and we talk baseball all the time. So I think um, it's going to take a little while to, I guess, like make feel normal in a way, just because like this is all like super new, and we're used to opening up a laptop and doing some schoolwork and then going to the field after that. So this is all super new, but everyone's excited to be here, including myself.
Yeah, I love to hear that.
Bet you're very happy that there's no more schoolwork.
Yeah, super, super. Yeah, yeah. I mean, not that I don't like school, but my number one priority is playing baseball, and I love playing baseball with nothing else to worry about. So it's great.
Yeah. Growing up, I mean, was there anybody that you ever modeled your game after, even like in college too, or have you always just been yourself?
In college, kind of was just myself. I would say growing up, I watched a lot of guys. Like I think my top three favorite swings would be like Griffey, number one, um, Bryce Harper, and then Kristen Yelich. I always loved watching those guys. Loved watching their swings. I thought they had really good lefty, smooth swings. And there was always kind of like a time where I would try and model my swing after one of those guys. And then as soon as I got to college, I still love watching those guys and love watching their swings, but kind of I guess did my own thing and came up with my own swing and found what was comfortable to me. But in high school was really big on trying to model my swing after those guys.
Yeah, I've always thought like Yelich, especially I don't like the guy since he's, a Brewer, but I've always
Hmm.
thought his swing was very satisfying to
It
watch.
is. It is for sure.
Yeah, those three guys all have some pretty pure lefty swings. So, for my next question, at Texas A&M, you hit for average and power. So, what is kind of your approach at the plate?
Approach has always been kind of the same for me, looking for a heater. It depends on the pitcher that's going. Like if it's a ride heater guy that loves, throwing at the top of the zone, then I'll go up there looking for something at the top of the zone and taking anything that starts down. If it's a sinker guy, typically I'm pushing him up as well, just because if I swing at anything down that starts at the bottom of the zone, it's probably going to end up a ball. So, depending on the pitcher, it kind of varies, but usually always looking for a heater, something over the heart of the plate, middle away, doing damage to the left center gap. And then if I get an off speed over the middle of the plate, then being able to pull that to the right center gap and, kind of staying in that window.
Yeah. Were you ever like pitched around or not to contact? Obviously, you guys had a very tough Texas A&M lineup, but just the way you were swinging the bat, were you ever pitched around a lot?
Yeah, definitely got a lot of off speed, especially this last previous year. Got pitched a little different for sure. A lot of junk in the dirt, a lot of heaters up out of the zone. Came out of my approach at some points during the season and got a little bit too aggressive. But that's kind of how I've always been as a hitter. I'm an aggressive hitter. I'm usually always trying to hunt something early in the count. Um, but again, I kind of like I had Chris Akopian behind me in the lineup. So if you don't pitch to me, you got to pitch to that dude, and that's not good news either. So having him behind me in the lineup definitely helped. Get more pitches that I could do some real damage with.
Yeah, not an easy out in that lineup that you guys had last year.
No, yeah.
So for my last question, say we talk to you like exactly 1 year from now. What's one spot in your game or just I mean one spot in general that you just want to improve in the next 365 days?
Um, I mean, I want to improve on everything in my game. That's how I've always been. I'm not really looking for one thing in particular. It's kind of just, every aspect of baseball I want to just continue to work on and get better at, whether it's fielding, hitting for power, hitting for contact, running the bases. Um, all that I want to continue to improve on. If I had to choose one thing that I'm going to be like 100% dialed in on would probably be just a better approach in the box. Not coming out of my approach. I guess, swinging at the strikes and taking the balls, being able to see the ball deeper, and I guess not getting too aggressive on pitches that I, shouldn't be aggressive on early in the count.
Yeah, and then for my last question, this is obviously a weird year, playing the college season and then going right to Arizona, sign your contract, and then right into pro ball. What's your kind of goals for the rest of this season?
Rest of this season, it's kind of hard to have a lot of goals just because I don't know exactly what my plan is down here. Um, I definitely want to get a little more physical, a little stronger, faster. I think I'm semi-physical guy and I can run for some good speed, but again, I want to continue to work on things like that just so, when I do get the call up, at some point down the line, I'm, in the best position that I can be. So, I mean, down here, however long I'm down here, I think the biggest thing I'm focusing on is just getting more physical and, making sure my body's good to play 140 games in the minor leagues.
Yeah, I love to hear that. And then for my last thing, you got your own card in MLB The Show. I feel like that's got to be a dream. What was going through your head there, seeing that? That's got to be sick.
Yeah, no, it was definitely really cool. I got a text from my agent couple of days, I think it was the day after the draft, and was like, "Hey, like, MLB The Show wants to have you in the game. Like, are you cool with that?" And obviously, like, was ecstatic
Immediate.
for that. Like, you don't got to ask me. That's completely fine with me. So it was definitely really cool to see my card in the game, and as well as them sending me my personal 99. It's called like a real 99 player or whatever. Um, so it's really cool being able to go on the marketplace in search of Caden Sorrell and seeing my card on there. So yeah, it's really cool.
That's sick.
Yeah, I got you on the Diamond Dynasty team. Don't worry.
Thank you, I appreciate that.
Yeah.
I hope I'm
Hayden,
doing good for you.
yeah, you are. Don't worry.
Sweet.
Thank you so much for coming on to the show tonight. Good luck the rest of the season. Hope to talk to you in the near future. Good
Yes,
luck
sir.
the rest of this year.
Yeah,
Thank you
yeah.
so much.
Thank y'all.
Yeah,
Thank y'all
thank you
very
so
much. Thank
much.
y'all for having me on.
Yeah.
Thanks, man.
Yeah,
All
y'all have a
right,
good
you
one.
all. Signing off. Ryan Dunleavy.
Ryan Slinsky.
See you guys in the next episode.